Check. Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Town of Port Royal, June 10, 2026, 6:30 p.m. council meeting here in the Yvonne C. Butler Council Chambers at 700 Pierce Avenue. Up first, as always, we've got our Pledge of Allegiance. Lead us in that, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Councilman Owens, invocation, please.
Father, we thank you for this opportunity as we assemble before you to conduct the business of our town and those whom we serve. We thank you for the agenda, and we thank you for it being fulfilled in the best interest of those whom we serve. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right. Okay, up first, we've got approval of the minutes. Minutes from Budget Workshop 1, May 6, 2026. Minutes from the public hearing of May 6, 2026. Minutes from the council workshop of May 6, 2026. Minutes from the budget workshop number 2, May 13th, 2026. And minutes from the council meeting of May 13th, 2026. Entertain a motion to,
So moved.
Second.
any corrections, deletions, additions? All right. Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. The minutes are in the history books. All right, up next, we got a couple proclamations. Very first one, Mr. John Neely, you're doing Carolina Day. Carolina Days. Okay. How are you doing, sir?
very good. Thank you, Mayor.
Good. No, yes, sir, absolutely. So I've got a got the proclamation up here. I'm going to read. But if you just want to kind of give us a little what we're celebrating here.
Well, I'll have very brief remarks after you read the proclamation.
Perfect. Sounds good.
All right.
Establishing June 27th through July 5th, 2026 as Carolina Days, whereas on June 28th, 1776, the Patriot forces of South Carolina, including the men of the Beaufort District Militia, defended Fort Sullivan, later renamed Fort Moultrie, in Charleston against a powerful British naval assault and an attempted amphibious invasion, and whereas this triumph, one of the first great Patriot victories in the American Revolution against a British attack and the first Patriot victory in the war in South Carolina, inspired hope throughout the American colonies and reinforced the southern flank of the Revolution at a critical time in the struggle for independence. And whereas news of the victory at Sullivan's Island was sent to the Continental Congress in Philadelphia on July 2nd, 1776, and whereas on July 4th, 1776, Congress voted in favor of independence, and on that day, the Declaration of Independence was approved and published to the world, marking the birth of our nation. And whereas the Declaration of Independence was signed by the delegates on August 2nd, 1776, encouraged by the news of the victory at Sullivan's Island, and whereas the period from June 27th through July 5th, 1776, represents an extraordinary convergence of local and national history, uniting the courage shown on South Carolina soil with the founding principles proclaimed in Philadelphia. And whereas the year 2026 marks the 250th anniversary of these events, and it is fitting for the citizens of the town of Port Royal to remember, honor, and celebrate the legacy of liberty, unity, and sacrifice that was secured during those historic Carolina Days. Now, therefore, I, Kevin Phillips, Mayor of the town of Port Royal, do hereby proclaim the period of June 27th through July 5th, 2026 as Carolina Days in the town of Port Royal, and encourage all residents to join in commemorating the heroism of those who fought for American independence and in celebrating the enduring values of freedom and democracy that continue to guide us today. Eyewitness whereof have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the town of Port Royal to be affixed this 10th day of June, 2026. Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, Councilman, assembled citizens, the Beaufort County 250 Committee is very appreciative of the proclamation that you have issued in recognition of the Battle of Sullivan's Island, for which Carolina Day is dedicated. We also want to thank you for your appreciation and promotion of the more than 100 battles and skirmishes that occurred in Beaufort County during the American Revolution. Just as Carolina Day recognizes the first sea-based victory in South Carolina by the Patriots, the Battle of Port Royal Island, also known as the Battle of Beaufort, on February 3rd, 1779, was the first land-based victory by the Patriots in South Carolina. We look forward to celebrating that great victory in February 2029 on its 250th anniversary. Again, thank you.
Sir, thank you. Come down and take a picture?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You know, love that.
You won't need a flash, Sean.
Thank you. I'd love to have a picture. Awesome. Thank you, Mayor.
Everybody ready and eyes open?
I just want to get one more. I'm sorry for our committee. My phone's right there. Oh, good.
Yeah, sorry.
Thank you.
Eyes can be closed on this area. Ready, 1, 2, 3.
Thank you, Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you.
But I did do it.
Sir, you want to go here?
All right, thank you, Mr. Neely. One of the things we all love about this area is the history of this area. I was just listening to a podcast literally on the way in here that talked about how this area has 500 years of continuous recorded history in Beaufort and Port Royal right here in this area, and how that is the oldest, they believe, in the entire country. Continuous recorded history, 500 years right here. And
Wow.
that's pretty amazing, like I said. All right, up next, we have another proclamation, something that I know we're all very excited about and love very much, speaking about things we love about this town. Proclamation recognizing June as Trails Month in honor of the Spanish Moss Trail. I think we've got Mr. Dean Moss, Mayor Joe DeVito, if y'all would like to come up here. We'll do the same. I'll read, and then you guys give us a little update.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Proclamation recognizing June as Trails Month in honor of the Spanish Moss Trail. Whereas the town of Port Royal recognizes the importance of safe, accessible, and well-maintained recreational trails that enhance quality of life, promote healthy lifestyles, and support alternative transportation. And whereas the Spanish Moss Trail serves as a vital community asset connecting residents and visitors to natural, cultural, and scenic resources throughout the region. And whereas the recent extension of the Spanish Moss Trail crossing into the town of Port Royal represents a significant milestone in regional connectivity, further linking Port Royal to surrounding communities and expanding access to recreation and alternative transportation options. And whereas the Spanish Moss Trail provides opportunities for walking, running, cycling, and other outdoor recreation, while also contributing to local economic vitality, environmental stewardship, and community connectivity. And whereas the town of Port Royal is committed to supporting and promoting the continued development, use, and enhancement of its trail systems for present and future generations. Now therefore be it resolved that the mayor and town council, the town of Port Royal, hereby proclaim the month of June as Trails Month in recognition of the value and significance of the Spanish Moss Trail and its role in enriching the community adopted this 10th day of June, 2026.
Thank you, Mayor,
Absolutely.
council, and staff. Thank you so much for this proclamation. My name is Joe DeVito. I serve as the chairman of the Friends of the Spanish Moss Trail. We can't thank you enough for what you've done to help us get the connection across Reboat Road into the downtown portion of Port Royal. We've been sitting so close for so long, and we finally got it across. The support that you've given the trail over the years since we've been building it is fantastic. We are so looking forward to taking it the rest of the way. You know, the original thought was go to the sands first. We've had to make alterations to keep the trail moving, but we're so excited to get it to the rest of the way and get it connected to the sands beach. And then your support in taking it the other direction and heading further north so we can truly connect what's here all the way through to Port Royal and give the people the opportunity to come downtown Port Port Royal, visit our businesses, visit our people, and walk these streets. So thank you so much. Next to me, of course, we all know I have Dean Moss, and I also have one of our board members. Other board members would love to have been here. This really takes care of all of our maintenance. She is the maintenance queen. When we have a problem, we see something, Mary takes care of it, make sure it gets to the right hands, and we get it done. So again, thank you so much. We appreciate this.
Thank you all very much. It's been wonderful. I've used it a few times. It works. It's great. It's awesome.
It does work.
It definitely works. It's great. If you could, real quick, little history, just so everybody knows, how long has that been the plan? How long, when you say we're taking, to get it across the Rebo Road, if you could just kind of explain to everybody what kind of, the heavy lift that took?
The heavy lift, we're 5 years, right at about 5 years trying to get it across Rebo Road to the point that it did. It was, once we got it to what we'll call West Vine and came that last little bit to Smilax, we always had the idea of getting across Rebo Road. As we all know, the property on this side changes the makeup of the trail. The trail from Rebo Road all the way to the Whale Branch and honestly all the way to Yamasee, that property is owned by Beaufort Jasper Water and Sewer Authority with an easement given to the county for a linear park. This side of Rebo Road, the property was owned by the port, which ends up being Grey-Ghost, which ends up being Safe Harbor, and that's what took the time, is to get the easements in place so that the trail could come across and get there. So we've got phase 1, which gets us to Ritter Circle. We've got phase 2, 3, I'm hopefully it's 3 phases to get it all the way to the Sands, which is the piece from where it ends now, all the way through to 7th or 8th Street, and then the last piece, once we hit the roads to connect it to Sam's Point. So it's been going on a long time. Dean and I have been working on the trail for much, much longer than that when we came up with this idea to do this, as his great leadership as part of Beaufort Jasper at the time, and decided to go after and get this property to turn this into the trail. So the trail is really here because of this man standing to my right, because he had the forethought to think about, if we get the property of Beaufort Jasper, what do we do with it, and realizing a trail made sense. So that's a little bit of history of how we got where we are. I've been involved with Dean since day one, and I'll stay involved until we see the last mile and beyond, because I have thoughts of what else to do with it and how else to connect it.
I live on 16th, and that's where they're going right now. I can tell you've seen a lot more bicycles, so
Yep.
people are using it, so that's
Yep,
great.
yep.
So, yeah,
And it was great. It was just in time, because obviously what started on Paris Avenue with the great streetscape, there's another way for people to get into town.
Perfect.
So it was the perfect timing for what we needed to get to happen.
You like to add anything?
Well, I will say that Joe and I have been working together now for almost 40 years, since he came to work for Beaufort Jasper Water and Sewer Authority a long, long time ago. The initial planning for the trail was done probably in the early part of, in the early 2000s, with the support of the Path Foundation out of Atlanta, and an enormous amount of the expense of building what we have was paid by Jim Kennedy of Cox Communications in Atlanta, who owns Clarendon Plantation, and wanted a trail so he could ride from Clarendon Plantation down to downtown Beaufort. That's as rational as I can make it. So he basically paid about 50% of the cost of building that. And as you can imagine, I think the first mile was right near Depot Road, down to the hospital, and that cost about maybe $600,000.
$650,000 was phase 1.
That mile today is going to be $1 million plus, maybe $2 million for that mile. I mean, the cost of doing this stuff has just gone crazy. So, but we want to keep working. I've been working with Van and the town on the area around Shellring and the restaurants, in terms of trying to figure out how we're going to get everything through there. We are looking at the maps that have been drawn by Safe Harbor for the routes going down through that area, and we've kind of let staff know what we think ought to be the right approach to that area. So there's a lot of discussion that continues to go on in making this work in Port Royal, and it will.
Are we ready? I believe you. Get it done. Are we ready for some sort of At the crossing,
So I was just going to say,
a
so.
ribbon, what is it, ribbon
stand by,
cutting
get
or,
ready.
yeah.
We will be announcing some sort of a celebration and a ribbon crossing. Ribbon cutting, thank you. I should say crossing. Ribbon cutting at the crossing. We'll have something set up for that. We needed to get through the last little pieces, the punch list items and that kind of stuff with the county. And we appreciate again what staff did to help get this to this point, because it took a lot. It took a lot of different people to get us here. And if anybody sees the Pender Brothers and that facility, they were gracious to allow us to move their driveway and do the things that needed to be done, never ask for any compensation other than to make sure we can get in and out of our place. So if you ever see them, thank them very much, because they could have been a stumbling block. Instead, they helped us get what we needed to get and get across the road.
That's awesome. All right, real quick, we'll come take a picture. Big round of applause for the Spanish Moss Trail. Come get a picture with you guys.
Eyes open.
Eyes a little bit. Let's let the little. Yeah. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, done.
Of course, thank you.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
We ought to thank these folks too. The board member, Beaufort Water Authority.
Beaufort Jasper Waters, yes.
Member extraordinaire.
No pressure. No, I'm just kidding.
No,
All right. Well, again, two great proclamations for two great things about the town of Port Royal. Up next, now we've got some presentations. Up first, Historic Port Royal Foundation. Miss Marcy Roy.
Council, town, I'm Marcy Roy, and I'm representing Historical Port Royal Foundation. We've been around since 1977. We've been collecting and preserving the town's history. We have 4 big file cabinets of history, and they're fireproof, and it's a lot of history. If anybody wants any information about history, we have it in the file cabinets. We also operate the museum and the visitor center. We're all volunteer staff. We're open from Wednesday through Sunday from 10 to 3. Our docents will meet you at the door and tell you all about the history, but they also tell you all about the town and what to do in the town, where the restaurants are, where the shops are. They do a great job. And then we're also an event coordinator, and we do coffee and conversations Wednesdays at 8 o'clock in the morning. We have all kinds of guest speakers. It used to be more of just a talk, everybody said. Now we're all about guest speakers, and it's been very, very informative. And we also do Third Thursdays, and that's been fun. We've been able to talk local musicians into coming in and playing for free for us. We are, next. This is our current museum, and it's very historic. I mean, it looks great, but we have issues. We're bursting at the seams. It's very, very small. We have a lack of visibility. It's way in the back of Harbor Village, and we don't have a lot of signage. We struggle to get people to come to the museum. Harbor Village is in the midst of being sold, which made us nervous, and we're not ADA compliant. And so we were worried about that, and we came to the council meeting, and next, the council listened to us, and they found us a building. It's at 1800 Paris, and it's a brick building that's right next to the fire station. The town is going to cover our rent and utilities. The town is going to occupy the back 2 offices and a conference room that we're going to share. The police are going to use it's a huge parking lot, so the police are going to use part of that parking lot. The building needs to be renovated, and so the town gave us some money to start doing the renovations. They're going to pay for their renovation of their area. And so the museum needs to raise money to be able to renovate our part of the museum. So a lot of people I talk to, they say, what building next to the fire station? And this is the building that's right next to the fire station, and not many people even noticed it. But it's really a nice-sized building, and I think that you can change any building into whatever you want or whatever you can imagine it to be. Next. This is the inside, and okay, it's like you're going back into time to a 1960s doctor's office, because that's what it was. So we've been trying to use our imagination and coming up with what it could look like. Next, this is what we plan to do with the museum. So we're going to put a porch on. We're going to change out some of the vinyl. We're going to planning on putting a patio in the front. We want it to become a very community-oriented place. And then we also want to take the back end of the building, and we want to put our signage back there. The town well, there's already a pathway coming from Cypress Wetlands, so we're just going to emphasize that pathway. And one of the ways to emphasize, and you can see it from Cypress Wetlands, is to say the visitor center and the museum is right there. So what are we going to be doing? So we are going to remove some of the walls so that it'll appear a lot bigger. We're going to raise the ceilings. I think the ceilings are like at 7 feet or something. And we're going to raise them up to 10 feet. After we've been studying everything, it looks like we can raise it up to 10 feet. We want to make it ADA compliant and code compliant. We want to replace the flooring, put new lighting in, add security, and we want to do signage. So we want signage, which we just saw on the last 2 slides, but we also want to have a big sign that's close to the flags by the Port Royal that says Historic Port Royal Visitor Center Museum, Shops, Restaurant, Sands Beach, Arrow. Because right now when you drive up on Rebo and you see the flags, you think that you're driving, if you keep going straight, you're going into Port Royal, and we want to make sure that they turn. So that's what that sign will be. What will 1800 Paris become? We want to become the gateway into the town. We want to be able to welcome visitors. We have several. We're opening it up, but we're also going to retain some of the rooms, and so we'll have different periods and different rooms, like the shrimping and oysters could be in one room, and we could do plantations in another, or we can swap them out. There's a lot of things we can do. We want to do a video room. A lot of museums now have videos, and we've been collecting videos of people who have grown up here and lived here. And then there's also other historical videos and then you can just go back into this dark room and no one will hear you, and you can kind of select from a library and pick out what you want to see. We want the visitor center. There's a map that we use in the museum to kind of show, because I mean, when you talk about the area around here and the rivers and everything, it's kind of hard to understand. So there's a map that we use all the time, and we're planning on doing a mural of it so that we can show people where things are and how to get around and everything. We have a gift shop already. We're just moving that over. We want to add a little kitchenette because we want to have community events there, and we also want to rent it out for, like, you know, a lot of people have smaller homes here, so they don't have very big living rooms. They could have birthday parties or anniversary parties there, and we'll have a little kitchenette. We want to put the porch on that you saw. That's going to add so much to that room, and we're going to add the signage like we were just talking about. But like I said, we need to raise money, and so we are looking for different ways to raise the money. One of the ways we're going to raise money is Mike Jones, everybody knows Mike, and his brother Steve are going to be sponsoring Just for the Hell of It party. They haven't had them for like 7 years. It used to be quite a big to-do here, and a lot of people came. So we're going to resurrect that. We're going to have 4 different bands, and they're all playing for free for us. And we're going to have a silent auction. So it'll be free, but we're going to be asking for donations. And we're going to have barbecue butts. We're going to supply that for people. And then they're supposed to bring their own drinks and something to share and chairs and friends. And it should be really good. June 27th that we're going to do that.
And any spare change they have, right, Marcy?
Oh, more than that.
You gotta remind them of that. We gotta bring them there to collect that.
Bring a little picture with you.
Yes, yes. And then we're doing Port Royal Mile. That's going to be September 12th. We are going to be passing, you're going to see a lot of this. I forgot my bag. Can you bring me one of our flags? Thank you. You're going to be seeing a lot of this. This is just kind of lightly what we're planning on doing, and then we have a QR code. So the QR code will take you into either becoming a member, donating, or giving us a review. So we'll be passing these out a lot, and in fact, as you leave tonight, we'll be passing them out. So, and that's what we're up to, and we're just really grateful for the town for helping us out, everything, you know. We put together a renovation team. Jerry's on it, Van's on it, Brooks on it, Noah's on it, and Gail is on it. And we've been working together to try to pull all the different plans together, and like any kind of renovation, you get set back and then you keep moving forward. So anyway, thank you.
No, I know we're all, and thank you, like you said, that that group does so much work, especially, as you reiterated, all volunteers. But again, such an important asset to the town. I love the visitor center and what you guys are doing. Y'all do a lot of great work, and we're really excited about that. More of a, kind of a more forever home, I guess, right there, first thing you see when you pull in. So thank you all again for all your work. You got a great team back there. We can see you guys. So thank you all for being here, and just looking forward to the party, Mike. I've heard many things about them, so all right, we'll see. Okay, up next, BJWSA. What you got for us? We got Mr. Strange, yes, sir. He's our representative on the board there.
Right, David Strange.
Yes, sir.
And I am pleased today to be here to introduce a couple of very important people who I interact with quite a bit and have the pleasure of having seen the change that they've made to the organization in the last couple of years. So I've been on the board for 4 years now. Wow. Hard to believe.
Thank you.
The last 2 years of which have been as chair of the Finance Committee. And what I can confirm to you today is that the organization is in very solid financial condition. However, we have a lot of challenges ahead of us. Everybody knows about the growth that's taking place both in our county and, of course, in Jasper County as well. But what we'll talk about today, what my colleagues are going to talk about, is the progress we've made over the last couple of years, especially in the past year and a half since we last met with you, and the amount of planning and real hard thinking that we've put into where we're going, how we're going to do it, and how we're going to pay for it. So, without further ado, first up is Verna Arnett, our General Manager, and then after she will be Charlie Stone, our Director of Government Affairs.
Sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
All right, thank you, David, and thank you, Mayor, council members, for having us back again. It's hard to believe it's been a year and a half. It certainly has gone fast. And David, thank you for the intro. As David mentioned, We have had a lot of changes, but it's because there's a lot of change going on around us. Growth is part of it. We have other challenges and things that we have plans for to deal with some other issues. So with that, Charlie and I are going to kind of tag team this presentation. So I'll go through some introduction, and then Charlie will do some of the middle part, and I'll follow up at the end. So thank you. Just a reminder of what we have. Obviously, we cover water and sewer in 2 counties. We serve Port Royal, 3 other municipalities. I think what's interesting about this service area is how large it is. 750 square miles is the size of a major metropolitan water and sewer system. So it's a lot a lot of land area that we're covering. And you can see the number of sewer and water retail customers. We also serve 7 wholesale customers.
Explain that to me.
Wholesale?
A wholesale customer. Give me an example.
Hilton Head PSD.
Okay.
We sell to them. We sell to the military is considered a
Gotcha.
wholesale customer.
Okay.
So, yeah. And then they operate their own distribution systems.
Gotcha.
Our water system, focusing on that for a minute, our primary water source is the Savannah River. It's interesting, that's probably one of the questions I get the most from people in the public is, are we going to run out of water? And, you never say never, but I don't think so. We have the ability to withdraw up to 100 million gallons per day from the river. Our plant capacity is at about 54 million gallons per day. So, we have room to grow. I think one of the bigger issues is not necessarily the supply issue, but the water quality and the impacts that severe weather, hurricanes have on the water quality that we get from the Savannah River, and things we have to do to treat that. And I'll go over that at the end of this presentation, some things that we're doing to address that. We have an 18-mile long canal. If you had seen, there was an article in the Post-Courier a couple months ago, very interesting article on the history of the canal, and that was the original waterway that got water to the original Chelsea plant that started the system back in the 50s and 60s. Again, I think that's something really unique about this area is just what it took to build that canal. And I think the cost of that was around $600,000 or $800,000. I can't imagine what that would cost to build today. So that's definitely an asset that we focus a lot of our attention on to make sure it's protected. As I said, the total water treatment plant capacity is 54 MGD. We just finished the Perrysburg expansion. That doubled to 30, and that just went online this year. Both of those plants serve the same distribution system. So Perrysburg and Chelsea can back each other up, even though they're both south of the Broad River. They back each other up to provide water both south and north. The distribution system, many miles of main. We have 10 booster stations. Kind of might want to remember that number for a minute. And then valves and hydrants, obviously. And the aquifer storage and recovery is something that is interesting that South Carolina utilities do use. It was foreign to me when I came here, but it's really a really innovative technology where we can treat water and store it in an aquifer and pull it out later for use during peak seasons. That's gotten a lot of interest from the state of Georgia, and actually we've presented to them about the use of this technology, and they're considering using it as well. So it's a place where South Carolina has been very innovative. And then our wastewater system, right now we have 3 mechanical plants, which means we basically have a lot of equipment there that we use to treat the water. Our Port Royal plant is our newest plant. That's the big one over here. Don't tell anybody, that's probably my favorite plant to visit. It's the newest, and it's a nice plant. And they do a good job there. We're in the process of upgrading the Cherry Point plant and the Hardyville plant as well. We are doing some upgrades at the Port Royal plant just to provide some redundancy and replacement of aging infrastructure. Our collection system is made up of gravity sewer force mains that are connected to pump stations. I said, remember the 10 pump stations on the water side? We have 600 on the sewer side. So that's an incredible number. That's one thing the Low Country doesn't have is hills. So we end up having to pump wastewater to get it to our plants. And with that, I'm going to turn over to Charlie, and then I'll finish up at the end.
Thank you.
I'm going to adjust this mic a little bit. I'm
Okay.
slightly taller than Mrs. Arnett here.
Do what you need to do.
But, yeah, so as David and Verna mentioned, last time we were in the town of Port Royal for a presentation, it was a little over a year and a half ago, and we highlighted the realities that are up on the screen, and I don't believe that the realities are really a surprise to anybody in the room. We've spoken to these quite a bit over the last few years, and we all understand that we're a region that's tasked with a great deal of in-migration, and we're growing rapidly. And needless to say, it's something that as municipal council members, you're tasked with managing on a day-to-day basis. And additionally, we've seen work even by our legislators at the state level, namely Senator Davis, with his concurrency legislation, looking at the proper sequencing of growth and infrastructure. And we also understand that the cost of utility construction, like other construction, continues to increase. And specifically within the water and wastewater industry, we've seen around a 250% increase in our cost of construction over the last 5 years. And I think last time we were here,
What was that number?
250%.
Over 5 years?
Yes, sir. And just to provide one project as an example, and I think we've used this as an example in the past, but we began the design of our Cherry Point wastewater treatment plant expansion in 2020. And at the time, our estimate that we received was $31 million. And in 2022, when the design was partially completed, the estimate was updated to $53 million. When we finally bid that project in 2024, our low bid was $107 million. So that's the reality that we're seeing, and we understand it's not too dissimilar to what other governmental agencies are experiencing with their capital projects. And we understand that with some of those challenges, we must continuously look at rates and capacity fees, as those are our two revenue sources. Sean, next slide. Thank you. And over the last few years as an organization, we've put a great deal of strategic planning, time resources, staff resources into the challenge of system capacity in preparation for the future. And I like to remind everyone that when I began at Beaufort Jasper, I started in February of 2024. And just a few months after that, on June 21st of 2024, we actually hit an all-time high for a water use day in the region, and we were just over 35 million gallons. And at the time of that all-time high, we had a max capacity of 39 million gallons between our two water treatment plants, the Chelsea plant and our Perrysburg water treatment plant. But since that date, as Verna indicated, in December of this past year, we completed our expansion of that Perrysburg plant, and that doubled the size of the Perrysburg plant. It took our system-wide capacity to 54 million gallons, and it's something that, really our leadership, our board, our entire organization is truly proud of. It's a landmark project for the authority, and as we talk about sustaining the region's water source and the challenges with capacity, the completion of that project has been really important for our entire service territory.
What's an average day?
An average day, gosh, what are we, mid-20s right now?
Okay.
Yeah. On the wastewater side, we've had similar capacity challenges. As you can see on the screen, sometimes we joke that we might be the only utility in the United States with 3 active wastewater treatment plants that are either in the planning phase or under construction. Next slide, Sean. But what we really wanted to spend some time highlighting today are some of the other key initiatives that we have at the authority. I think, needless to say, our large plant capacity construction projects, they receive a great deal of notoriety. But we have a large number of rehab and replacement projects across our service territory. And the map up on the screen, it shows the location of our CIP projects across the region in our 3-year CIP. And there's a great deal of infrastructure in our system that's 40, 50, even 60 years old, and some of it's inherited infrastructure that we received when we took over systems. Some of it's quite aged and in poor condition. And in some cases, there has simply been material adaptations to where what they were using decades ago just isn't the best material to use in present day. And we've seen that with our galvanized water line replacement projects that we have in the queue. But our engineering team and our CIP team, Mrs. Carrie Foy and Mrs. Jennifer Ray, they've done a wonderful job with the CIP. There's a lot of analysis and going into determining where our needs are. And actually within our 3-year CIP, we have 54 projects that are either rehab, replacement, or improvement projects. And so I think the point I'd like to make is while we focus a lot on the capacity projects, about 70% of our CIP in terms of project quantity are actually those rehab geared projects. But just to name a few projects that are in the queue right now that impact Port Royal at a very high level. I know we don't have a lot of time today, and we want to be respectful of the time constraints. But we're investing some significant dollars in structural and mechanical rehab to our water treatment basins at the Chelsea plant that serves northern Beaufort County. We're also investing in some redundancy and equipment replacements at the Port Royal plant. And then we have a comprehensive canal improvement planned right now that's going to be in excess of $20 million that will ensure that raw water can continue traveling through that canal and ultimately to northern Beaufort County. So that's just a high-level glimpse, but as we continue to wrap up some of those plant projects, these resiliency-based projects are going to continue to be a priority for our organization. Sean, next slide. Another initiative that we wanted to highlight is the adoption of our 20-year master plan. And our board actually formally adopted the master plan at our May meeting after nearly a 2-year community-led process. And it was a bit of a novel approach for a utility, and we really appreciate our board and the belief that they put into the process, and appreciate our planning staff, Taylor Logan and Ashley Goodrich for leading the initiative. But we hosted a lot of workshops with stakeholders, including the town. We had participants from the town of Port Royal, as well as other public jurisdictions and the development community, conservation groups, and others. But during the formation of the master plan, we looked at population trends. We also looked at PUDs and land use, and we received a lot of great input. But I think what it signifies for our organization is a much more proactive approach. It's our organization can't afford to simply stick our heads in the sand and operate in a silo. We really have to pay attention to all aspects of the community, and we have to look at the choices that our municipal and county partners are making in terms of land use policy. We have to consider the aspirations of the development community, the work of conservation groups, And all those items need to inform us so that we can make sure we're prepared. And I believe our master plan, our 20-year look is truly a representation of that. So we appreciate the town's participation as we crafted that document. Also, last time we were here, I think Mayor Phillips actually pointed out on the board the town's goal of continued targeted sewer infrastructure upgrades. And we're proud to announce that our board committed $1.3 million now for future sewer extension along Rebo Road. So we'll be working with Van and staff just to determine when and where we want to utilize those dollars. But we truly take the town's goals seriously, and we believe the partnership commitment shows that. And obviously, it's something that the town's expressed a need for quite some time. So we're excited to respond to that need. And we've also been working with staff on some CDBG grant pursuits, as well as we were looking at some VA opportunities through the state, grant opportunities there. So we'll continue to look at future funding pursuits as a team and try to accomplish the capital projects that are of interest to the town. Next slide. So another key initiative for the authority, within our strategic plan, we outline environmental stewardship. And when I came on board at the authority, we formed an ad hoc committee, an underserved committee, and that committee started looking at areas where there was a public health issue or an environmental issue as a result of septic systems. And we went through the process of identification, and the communities that we've been focusing on are in proximity to the watershed. Oftentimes, they're densely populated communities where infrastructure's in close proximity. And one project that really rose to the top, it's a community in Bluffton called Alljoy. And the residents in Alljoy have been vocal that they've desired sewer for many years. They've expressed to us that their septic systems have a great deal of issues in terms of their ability to function. And it was really a grassroots push by that community, but we had a lot of great data from groups like USCB and the Sea Grant Consortium, and really by building some great partnerships with the town of Bluffton and the county and the state, that project started to snowball, and we were able to assemble funding. Beaufort Jasper committed $4.6 million. We received some RIA grant dollars, and we now have a first phase that we're going to begin construction on in Alljoy actually this month. And we have a similar project at Stony Creek where we're going to be transitioning homes off of septic systems. But through those two projects, our board committed another $15 million in our 3-year CIP to sustain the initiative. We don't have communities right now identified, but we're looking for areas where there are septic system inoperability, environmental concerns, public health concerns, and looking to do more good work. So was something we're really proud of, and our ad hoc committee has been led by Mike Bell, who's on our board of directors, and he's done a great job of supporting us throughout this effort. Pass it on.
Okay, I'll try to wrap this up quickly. Thank you, Charlie. I'm getting all choked up over this. As I said, we're doing investments in water quality. The granular activated carbon facility is something we're putting at both our water plants. What does that do? It takes out organic compounds. It takes out things that cause taste and odors. It takes out PFAS, if you've heard about those forever chemicals that we're going to be mandated to remove. So it's going to really help the water quality and help us treat better. It's actually like a big Brita filter is what it is. It's the carbon granules that go into big concrete filter boxes. That is scheduled for completion in the spring of 2029. We've also are doing UDF is unidirectional flushing. We are coming to your area, if we haven't been there already, where we're basically opening hydrants. We open and close valves in a sequence that really causes the velocity in the water main to increase to where it helps get any accumulated sediment out of the mains. So that's been an ongoing effort to improve water quality for customers. Next slide. Financial stewardship. This is something that our board member, David Strange, has been instrumental in. The South Carolina Investment Pool is something that we've done this past year. It has been fantastic. We've actually changed our investment strategy, and we've made, we're able to generate much more revenue on cash that we have on hand that's sitting waiting for projects and things to be spent. So that's been something under David's leadership that has really helped the authority. We're continuing to pursue state and federal funding sources. Over the last few years, we've managed to get committed about $50 million in grant money. So that is spectacular, and it's partnerships with our municipalities and counties that has helped us to get that money, because there's things you all can apply for that we cannot. So that's been instrumental in getting that money for us and our constituents. We're also rated at the second highest bond rating, which is great. We went through that last year and came up with a AA1, an AA plus rating. That just shows you the financial management that we have. And finally, water security and resilience is at the top of our, that's what we do, right? Water security gives us enough water and quality water, so making sure that we protect that canal. There's source water protection of the Savannah River as well. Utility relocations, this is another example where we partner with you all to work on road improvements, streetscapes, stormwater improvements, and working together, getting together early on these projects is a huge benefit to all of us, because then we can really maximize grants and other resources that could help facilitate getting these projects done. So thank you, and I really appreciate the time that you have given to us. I'd be glad to answer any questions, or if you have questions, feel free to reach out to me or Charlie as well.
Yeah, anything, Council?
I'm good. That's a great presentation. Thank you
I
very
want
much.
to say, yes, absolutely. I want to say thank you. That's really important, seeing that investment in Rebo Road, the $1.3 million, and as Charlie said, that, taking the town's goals important and taking them serious. We really appreciate that. We know that we got a great representative in David there. So, and Charlie, thank you for always being accessible. If ever got any questions or anything just pops up, he always takes my call and always points me in the right direction. So we appreciate that. It's fascinating. I was out at the Perrysburg grand opening, and you go there and you realize how sophisticated the whole system is, and it takes so many people working jobs that you don't even know, and then every day you just turn on the sink, turn on the shower, and it just works. And
That's our goal.
It's it's extraordinary what y'all do, and so I just ask, is there what can we do to help y'all as y'all move forward with the challenges that?
Yeah, thank you. I think just having the forum to communicate with
Okay.
you and keeping those lines of communication open and being there for each other with projects that we both have that could mutually benefit us.
Absolutely.
So we really do appreciate it.
I agree.
Thank
So,
you.
well, thank y'all so much.
Thank you. Hey, Mayor, if I could, one of the things, David, I don't think your commitment to Port Royal could ever be understated. I think you're a quiet professional. You introduce Verna and Charlie well, but the work that you do and the foresight that you've had for this community in just a short time I've been up here is impressive. And again, I appreciate the manner in which you do it. You represent not only Beaufort Jasper Water Sewer Authority well, I think you represent and capture the spirit of Port Royal as it deserves. And thank you for that. Thank you so much for that, David.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, thank you so much, BJWSA. We have one more presentation from the one and only Mr. Noah Krebs, GIS Development Project Portal.
Yeah, well, I don't stand up to talk to you guys too frequently, so it's always interesting, I think, when I do. Just by way of background,
It is occasionally.
yes, sometimes interesting.
Yeah.
So the background on this is that several months ago, staff began working with Fort Waters on setting up an online GIS map that was specific to the town, that could do several things. It could track development projects on a map, short-term rentals, and public works maintenance. There's a host of different things we can do at a staff level on that map, tracking and analyzing. So the next step there was, how do we make the things that we want the public to be able to access publicly facing? And so we began to work with them to develop a project portal, which maps both private development projects and capital improvement projects. This is the result. It's a very straightforward, simple map. So currently, to access it, you'll go to portroyal.org. It is, if you click the Government tab under Departments, you'll go to the Planning page. And then the first subheading there is where the portal link is. It takes you straight to that map, easy peasy. And then there is not, we made sure there was not much to this page so that it's easily used by all, whether you're familiar with the projects, the town's geography or not. There are two columns here. The column on the left is private development. The column on the right is capital projects, and they're color coded. So you can see a few of the colors there on the list that's showing. Red is in review, so those projects are not yet permitted. They're at a certain point in the development review process. We don't specify within the categories on this map, so if you need further information, always welcome to reach out to staff to find out more details. Green is permit issued, so that is, we have approved the development, but no work has begun yet. And then the orange color is under construction. Those are 9 times out of 10 going to be the projects that people visit this site to look for. And then I believe there's a blue for completed, construction completed. So those projects, the projects that are labeled blue, I believe we have the system set to keep those on the map for, I think it was 6 months, might be a year, I'd have to double check that. And so during that time, somebody can go and look at the details of that project even after it's been completed. After a certain period of time, those projects will be archived. And so what we asked Fort Waters to do is to also add a tab in the top right corner of this screen. Currently, nothing will happen if you click on that because there are no archived projects yet. But as projects disappear from the map because they've been blue for 6 months, you'll be able to still find them in that archived tab. And so every capital project or development project henceforth will end up in that archive eventually for people to view. So just as an example of, Van, if you could click on the Hyatt Studios, it zooms you straight into the parcel where the project is taking place. Could you click on that part of the list maybe? Sorry, I haven't worked with it. Okay, one more time and then click on the parcel itself maybe. There we go. So if you zoom in, if you click on a project in the list, it'll zoom into that parcel, and then it'll bring up information on the project. So for example, this is a hotel development on High Tide Drive over in the Midtown Village. It gives you a brief narrative of the project. It also shows a small thumbnail of the site plan, which you can click to open up the full-size plan and view what that project plan is. So there'll be various, depending on the project, various levels of detail on what is happening, depending on if it's in review or the permit's been issued already. You might find that a permit that's been issued will say, this is the name of the development. If it's residential, this is how many units, and you'll get more color rendering that'll show the landscape plan as well as the lot plans and the streets and so forth. And likewise with the capital projects, just as an example, Marshview Park you may have to zoom out the whole way to get it to go to the other. If you click on Hyatt Studios in the list, so it zooms back out. Maybe if you click on Marshview Park, you might have to just zoom in on, so hiccups still happening. We'll get that kink ironed out. So likewise with the capital projects, there's a narrative there that explains what the project is. There's always going to be a design professional, which I failed to mention on the last. There's always going to be a design professional, the engineer of record listed there. So we know who is responsible for the design of the project. And likewise, you can see what the current conceptual plan or approved plan is for that project. So it's very user-friendly. There's not much to it. We took some inspiration from Beaufort County's project portal and kind of pared it down to something that doesn't throw too many things at you once on screen. There's a chance that we'll probably move it to a more obvious area on the website, maybe on the main page, so that it's right there when you open the town's website, and easily found instead of having to kind of navigate through pages. So that is the gist of this. It's live right now, so anybody who's watching could go to the town's website, go to the planning page, and immediately view this map. So
Must have read my mind, because that was my question, if it's live.
it is in fact live as of 2 hours ago. So-
Show me how to get to it again, please.
Portroyal.org, right?
Yep, portroyal.org.
Then go
Which,
to.
go to government and then go to planning?
Yep, so if you go to portroyal.org,
Right,
the government tab at the top,
okay,
there's departments listed there.
Gotcha.
Go to the planning department's page,
gotcha.
and it will currently be in that first
Portal.
subheading.
This
And there's
is
also,
Yeah, we're gonna move it to the front page.
yeah, this was the easiest. There's,
Yeah.
it takes more to embed it into the main part of the page. So as easy as we could do it for the time being, we'll make it more accessible from the main page. And we'll likely still have the development reports that are updated frequently so that you can just view a table, a spreadsheet with these same projects color-coded in a similar way, that'll be available on the planning page of the site as well, so.
Even the speed bumps, this is really, really impressive.
Yeah, Neil Peterson is the GIS analyst with Four Waters that we worked with. So Michael Klink brought us together, and Neil worked pretty diligently to get this done as quick as he possibly could.
Well, thank you. I know this was something we discussed at our retreat, and so thanks for, like I said, just taking it up and
You did a great job on
getting
it.
that done. I love that, like you said, you kept it simple, you know? I know.
Yeah, I think
You can
the
get on
three of us
some-
looked at it the first time and thought, we need to,
Yeah, you can
too
get
much
on
going
some-
on here.
You
and
can get on
we made
some
it as simple
GIS
as we
maps
could.
and get
Yeah.
real confusing real quick, so keeping it simple, that's great. You know, this is one of those things that checks a bunch of boxes of our must-dos, could-dos, and should-dos, so again, thank you for, just getting it done, following through with that.
It's a
That's awesome.
great way to stay organized, for us to see what's going on. But also, when folks call us about, I saw this, or I saw that, or what's going on here, here's a resource we can use, hey, we can send you to this page, you can find out everything you need on it.
Absolutely. And there'll be scheduled check-ins with the Four Waters analyst and me to make sure that this is up to date. We're not lagging on updating it, to make sure that the projects are in the status they're supposed to be, or new projects are added when necessary, so.
Well done.
Great job.
Good job.
you.
That was
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, Noah.
Very helpful.
That was good. That was interesting. Okay. No more presentations. Up next, council briefing.
I think I covered it pretty well last week. I know you guys
Yep.
have a lot on the agenda. If there's any updates or questions you have, happy to answer.
I do have one, because I think we do, the shrimp dock. I got some questions this week about it. They were referencing,
Well, they can go to this map.
I was about to say, yeah, they were referencing an old article that talked about how, back from, I think in '21, the state had given us money and we had a permit in hand, and why aren't we, and I think that permit's for that backwards F that we have.
Yeah, it was part of
And so,
the
yeah, if you
larger
could just kind of
permit.
hash out,
Yeah, it was part of the larger permit that the State Ports Authority secured from the Department, or DES, which was OCRM at the time, which included construction of the box in the water marina, as well as the demolition and replacement of the shrimp dock, which included the backwards F. We all understood the backwards F
was dangerous.
wasn't going to work. So we moved forward with the old permit that allowed for demolition. Then we submitted an amended permit under our name only that reconfigured the dock as it was previously, but further out the water, obviously bolstered, more significantly larger, more accommodating to the boats. So that's what this permit is. And we have the DES permit in hand. We're now waiting on the Corps of Engineers, and according to them, we are 93% complete with the permit process.
Okay. And so, yeah, that update, because we just got the DES permit.
Yes.
And so for everyone listening, DES is Department of Environmental Services, used to be DHEC up in Columbia. They've consolidated two departments up there and now made DES. So you get to get a permit from the state and a permit from the Army Corps of Engineers. As you heard, we now have our permit from the state, and we're 93% of the way on our
Right.
Army Corps of Engineers. And I believe we'll be putting that out to bid
Yes,
soon.
we've been working with ATM on refining the RFP for construction.
Okay.
Just answering a bunch of questions they have to get it moving forward.
Great. Like I said, just had some, just wanted to clear up some of that misinformation out there, but now I can just say, hey, check out our GIS system.
Yes.
Okay, that, and then one more thing I did want to touch base on and see if there was, I know it was just last week, but we had discussed last week, while the state is going to try and solve this, rent a nonprofit loophole that allows you to get a 100% tax exemption on your apartment complex, with only having 0.1% of the ownership in a nonprofit, while we're working through that system, things that the town could do to ensure that no other large apartment complexes come on board
Yeah.
while
Tax exempt.
we're the tax exempt, 300 rooms or, 150, 200 rooms that we have to service with hundreds of calls every year, paying $0 into the tax rolls. And
Right. So you did ask us to look into a moratorium.
Right.
And I think Noah can speak to that a little bit. And just secondly, our attorney, Lawrence Flynn, has created a draft for basically what would be a heavy user service fee that would address properties that demand a certain levels of service that are extraordinary. He's asked the Municipal Association to review his draft of that ordinance. I had a discussion with him this morning, but I think we'll be prepared to move forward with that pretty quickly.
great.
Do you want to talk about the moratorium issue? I know that we wanted it to be a little more fine-tuned, fine-tooth this go-round rather than kind of a one-size-fits-all. And
Yeah.
and Noah did a quick analysis of how this may work.
Well, we did the previous moratorium on multifamily to allow
Yes.
the planning department time to work and update our planning codes. And one of the things we ran into right out the gate was multifamily, there was just one definition for it, and it meant 2 and up.
Right.
And so part of the new planning codes is, that's broken out more to where I think we could be a little more selective in what we're trying to do this time around.
Yeah.
Am I
sorry.
right in that?
Yeah, so, yeah, I mean, it was, the definition in the previous moratorium was, I think it covered anything that had 3 units or more.
3 and up.
So like even though townhomes could be considered single-family attached, in our code, they were considered multifamily. The universally accepted definition of multifamily would be 4 units or more. And so we have multiple building types in our code. Caveat all of this with the amendments that we made in the last several years, 2-3 years, have made this more confusing to try and apply to a moratorium. But the general gist is that there are building types in our code, and there are single-family building types that includes detached and attached, like a townhome. There are duplex or triplex, 2 to 3 unit buildings. And then we have it broken out into 3 different multifamily type buildings. One of which is 4 to 6 units, which we, I'll save the lingo, it's a little confusing. 4 to 6 units, 7 to 12 units, 13 to 24 units. Each of those are allowed in various zoning districts. And so we'll need to look at is there a unit threshold, a minimum unit threshold that where this moratorium applies? Because in our current code, we have what we call building type diversity standards, which you all remember. That's the overarching change that we made that forces developers to no longer say, I'm building 10 24-unit apartment buildings, and they'll all look identical. If you go over the threshold of 72 units or 20 new lots in a new development, you're required, depending on what the zoning district is, to do a certain mix of building types overall in the site and per block. So we need to give some careful thought to how we continue to allow missing middle housing types, which would be the 2 to 12 unit types of buildings. Reason being that, just as an example, an infill lot on Paris Avenue could be built to have a ground floor of retail and then 2 floors above it that each have 4 apartment units. And that could be a multifamily building. Do we want to prohibit that type of multifamily appropriate infill development in the village? Or do we want to say large-scale developments that incorporate multifamily building types, we need to prohibit for the time being while we determine how we move forward with the service fees and so forth.
Okay.
Just keep in mind, a subdivision could occur where, due to the building type diversity standards we have, where a developer designs a site that has a majority of townhomes and single-family detached, but it also incorporates a 4 to 6 unit building on a couple of lots throughout the development. Maybe there's only 3 of them. And they could be a fee simple lot where one owner owns the 4-unit building. Are they able to apply for that exemption still? Don't know. But that's the kind of thing that we need to hash out before putting the moratorium ordinance in place.
So how about this? Is it possible, did your assistant start?
Yes.
Nice, congratulations. Because I know you're very busy. Is there any?
Introduce them next.
Okay, I was about to say, is there any way, can you put together like a short
Yes.
memo for us? Those questions, what you need us to discuss and exactly answer from you?
Yes.
And we can, and I think that'll help direct us. If you kind of, give us, here's what we're looking at. I know what you're trying to do. Here's the questions you need to answer for me. and
Yes,
we'll-
I can
and
do
we'll get
that.
you those answers.
Yeah. What Van has on the screen is an email to him that was more stream of consciousness, just to make sure
Yeah.
I got it all out before tonight.
The reason
but-
why his assistant here, he tried to interpret that and he tried to leave.
Nope, it's all good. Like I said, yeah, if you could just put a short memo together for us, kind of lay this stuff out and what answers you need from us.
Yep.
And we'll discuss and get you those answers.
I can do that this week, yep.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything else from council for staff? No. You all good? You all good? Okay. All right, up next, I got public comment for agenda items. I did not receive any of those, so we will move right into second readings. Second reading, 2026-8, an ordinance to authorize the town manager to convey excess real property to facilitate construction of sidewalks within the town, described as Beaufort County Tax District 110, Map 10, Parcel 109A, better yet known as 1108 14th Street. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-8.
Second.
Any discussion, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. Up next, 2026-9, an ordinance to amend as follows, Section 1 of Ordinance 2025-5, to provide for the levy of taxes for ordinary town purposes in the town of Port Royal, South Carolina for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2026, and to provide for the expenditures thereof. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
All right, we're opening it up for discussion. Mr. Willis, we've had multiple workshops, multiple public hearings, gone back and forth on this. If you just kind of want to just give us the highlights and.
I don't have the spreadsheet in front of me, but
Okay.
it was included in the folder. The budget is approximately $11,800,000. One of the last items of discussion was the project contributions line item. We did put some earmarked expenditures within that line item for the legislative budget. I did build in a bit of a buffer there to provide some discretion to council during the fiscal year. It does include a 3% cost of living adjustment plus an additional 2% cost of living, a 2% adjustment for all employees across all departments. The anticipated millage for the year is 72 based upon the tax digest that we currently have with Beaufort County. Obviously, we have a number of potential pending exemption applications. I did request through the DOR the updated list of exemption applications. Hopefully we'll receive that soon. I did get a bill for that, $5, so that's okay. But right now, one of the things that we're utilizing to maintain that 72 millage rate is we had a TIF in place from 2012. We have sent that money back to both the county and the school district. The balance of those funds in that account are the towns to return to the general fund. That was approximately a little over $700,000. So we're using a portion of those funds, not touching the fund balance, to allow us to get through this little bump in the road with the exemption issue until it gets resolved. We have about a 50% take from that fund, so we have that to fall back on. We did have some growth in our property tax base from this fiscal year and anticipated for next fiscal year that will allow us to kind of utilize that growth to balance out that hole. To be quite honest with you, that exemption hole is north of $500,000 in the current fiscal year. The impact of the preserve apartments is about $350K, but we've got several others that took advantage of the exemption as well.
Ran a nonprofit.
So, and we're going to have to address, eventually the impact of the change in boat taxes also. I know Homestead didn't get touched this year, but that's on the horizon. So we need to keep all those things in mind. But having said all that, it's about 11/8. We funded just about everything we needed to fund. I did not have to make any significant cuts, and we're keeping the village the same.
Very good. Good job.
That, the TIF money, that 700,000, is that what was collected from 2012 to 22 when it expired, or is that?
That's
is that to
current.
date?
Yes.
Okay, that's to date. I got you.
Right. And if you remember, there wasn't any value for a little while, and it took a sale to eventually create the initial increment.
Okay.
And that initial increment was the Gray Ghost purchase price of close to $7 million. It then sold for $20 million, and then there were pieces that were purchased out of it. They were already purchased out of it. So you had $20 million, you had Fish Camp, you had Shell Ring, but for whatever reason, the assessor's office determined it's only worth 13. I can't explain that. So that's why it generated the increment that it created. So.
Well, thank you so much for your hard work on this. I know ever since we became aware of the rent a nonprofit loophole that the Preserve took advantage of, we had many phone calls. I know you had many probably sleepless nights over that, but I really appreciate taking council's directive to not increase the millage, to hold that steady for the citizens. So and get everything done. And so I really appreciate that for you and staff. So, any comments or questions from council?
Nope.
Okay. Hearing none, we have a motion. We have a second. So, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All right. We got a budget. Up next, 2026-10, an ordinance to authorize the town manager to convey excess real property to facilitate the construction of sidewalks within the town described as Beaufort County Tax District 110, Map 10, Parcel 114, better known as 1102 15th Street and Madrid Avenue, approximately 200 feet. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, any questions? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right. 2026-11, I will, just like we've done as the first reading and public hearing and all that, I'm going to recuse myself from this vote. This is a piece of property that me and my wife own, and we're trying to build a sidewalk on it, so I'll hand it over to Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor. So we have ordinance 2026-11, ordinance to authorize the town manager to convey excess real property to facilitate construction of sidewalks within the town described as Beaufort County Tax District 110, Map 10, Parcel 087 Alpha, otherwise known as 1111 12th Street, approximately 100 feet. Entertain a motion to approve the ordinance.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-11.
Second. We have a motion, a second. Any discussion? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Back to you, Mr. Mayor.
Great job. Thank you. All right, on to our first readings. First reading, 2026-12, an ordinance to rezone approximately .18 acres of real estate described as Beaufort County Tax District 110, map 10, parcel 136, located in Beaufort County, South Carolina, to be rezoned from T5 Main Street to T4 Urban Center, rezoning of 1005 16th Street. Noah, if you could just give us I know this went before the Planning Commission, how that went, and I know we have the applicant here as well, too, if anybody has any questions or anything for them.
Yeah, so the initial application was to rezone the entire property that's outlined in green there. This is the corner of 16th Street and Paris Avenue. The Planning Commission recommended approval of just the rear 75.01 feet of the property, which is this portion that's planned to be subdivided to build a home facing 16th Street. And so the applicant was willing to amend their application to adhere to what the Planning Commission had recommended to Town Council. So that recommendation was made unanimously. The applicant has agreed with their recommendation, and so that shaded area on the rear portion of the property is what is currently under consideration for the rezone from T5 Main Street to T4 Urban Center. Just as a reminder, there aren't many material differences between the two zoning districts. The primary difference is that detached single-family homes are permitted in T4 Urban Center, and so that is the applicant's intent on that rear portion of the property, and so we still then have the ability to pursue commercial development or mixed-use development on the portion that fronts Paris Avenue.
Great. So that front part will stay, the upzone of the T5 Main Street, like you said. That's great. I know the applicant's here. Does anybody have any questions or comments for them or anything? Okay. I will entertain a motion.
So moved.
Second.
And any discussion, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. And I can go ahead and tell you, your decorations look great.
They are.
You're gonna,
always.
there's more coming. Y'all gonna be hard to beat for the July 4th competition.
Every holiday, we look forward.
Decorations. It's fun.
It's great.
The more decorations, the merrier.
Absolutely.
Wait
House
for
looks
Cory to
good.
smile and say that.
No, y'all.
Corey doesn't like to put them up.
You guys do a great job with it. Okay, up next, 2026-13, an ordinance to amend section 4.1.20, applicability of the Development Code of the Town of Port Royal, South Carolina. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-13.
Second.
All right, we're discussion. I know we talked about it at the workshop, but Noah, if you could, just for people that weren't at the workshop, what do we,
Yeah, this is real simply kind of a housekeeping amendment to the specific to use chapter of the development code. Currently, there's a mechanism to interpret uses that aren't listed in the code as something that is similar to another use in the code based on the characteristics of those uses. The example I give is that a bar and a tavern is a use that's listed in the code, but a cigar lounge is not. So when I approved fuel and fire as a use that could be permitted here, we looked at the characteristics of that use and determined it was the same as a bar and tavern for all intents and purposes, so it was allowed to be located there. What we don't have is what to do when the proposed use is not listed in the code and it also is not similar to anything in the code. And so I drafted just a one sentence language that we wanted to try and see if that would work to cover that issue, send it to the municipal association. They checked it out with their legal team and said it looked good because that is kind of a touchy subject when we say this is outright prohibited, and so we need to cover that aspect of it. So that's what this does. If a use is not similar to something in our code and it's not listed in the code at all, it is prohibited by this provision.
think it's some good forethought, so I think that's smart. Thank you. Any discussion or comments from council?
None.
All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. Rolling along, 2026-14, an ordinance to amend Chapter 19 of the Code of Ordinances of the Town of Port Royal, South Carolina, to add a definition of electric bikes, e-bikes, to clarify their status under town regulations and to provide for their safe operation within the town. I'll entertain a motion.
Second.
Okay, any discussion or comments? We talked about this a lot. Really thank you to staff for, bringing something to us. We gave some critiques of it, and y'all took those and made some modifications and changed it up and really focused on that pedestrian safety, which was, I think, kind of what everybody was really wanted to focus on. So, any comments or questions from council? All right.
We're good on that.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, thank you all. Up next, 2026-15, an ordinance to authorize the town manager to convey excess real property to facilitate construction of sidewalks within the town described as Beaufort County Tax District 110, Map 11, Parcel 092D, better yet known as 814 11th Street, approximately 76 feet. I'll entertain a motion.
So, second.
Any discussions, comments?
No, sir.
All right, hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All right. That's it for our ordinances tonight, first and second readings. We've got a couple council actions now. First up is an approval of the mutual aid agreement between the city of Beaufort and the town of Port Royal Police Department. Chief, any comments on that? I know we spoke about it.
It's basically just housekeeping issue. It's renewed every couple of years. It's just no change.
Yes, sir. I think it's great you guys support each other and have each other's backs. So, hearing that, I'll entertain a motion that we approve the mutual aid agreement between the city of Beaufort and the town of Port Royal Police Department.
So moved.
Second.
Any comments, discussions from council? All those in favor signify by saying aye. 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 Okay. Up next, we have a reappointment of our representative, Mr. Jimmy Boozer, to the Military Enhancement Committee. Mr. Boozer, you here?
Yep, he's in the back.
Come on
Did you have
down,
any
Jimmy.
did you have any update from the MEC? Or
Come on down, Jimmy.
you can give us, just kind of let us. Yes, sir. Perfect. Good to see you. How you doing?
Good. Thank you so much for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank you for your service.
Thank
to the
you.
town.
Just like to give you an update on where we are on the VA hospital, on the VA clinic.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's going to be open and operating by 2028. Across the street, it's 1844 Rebault Road. And talking about Beaufort Jackson Water Authority, hopefully that infrastructure that they provide will be able to accommodate it. Now, it will be an outpatient. It will not be inpatient. So it would just be like a very nice VA clinic. With that, we have State of the Bases that we invite all three commanding officers to come. That's going to be, and also town council, city council, all elected representatives to be there. It's going to be in late September. We waited this long because we had a new commanding officer at Paris Island, just came on board, General Langfeld. And so we made sure we had all three COs in place by that time. Also, we did a military enhancement committee did include and bring in OPFOB into the greater American defense communities to then be a part of OPFOB, and so they're now a part of that communities. So that will give us an opportunity to apply for an award to represent military enhancement for Beaufort, South Carolina. Just give you some financials. We have $262,000, $182 in our money market account, and $80,000 in our operating account. Are there any questions from? One other thing, I'm not avoiding the Naval Hospital, but there's been so many ifs and whats and buts about what's going on with it. And the only thing I do know is that based on what Ben sent out, Ben Lysel, who's also on our MEC committee, is that they're going back and looking at the 2027 closure of I say 41 hospitals that were looked at to be done with, and now they have the military House subcommittee in Washington is going to look at this again and see if taking those 41 hospitals off the closure, so to speak, or redevelopment. So we don't know where that's going to go, but I know we tried to get the Coast Guard to come in, and that was overruled, and we went to Alabama. Why? We don't know, because they're landlocked there. We have plenty of space there at Naval Hospital. So that's my report.
Yes, sir.
If there's any questions from Mayor Phillips or
Thanks for the update. Excited
Jerry?
about the VA. Very excited.
We are too. We're glad it stayed north of the Broad, because we were fighting, reluctant with it, and we got it. So right here is going to be right across the street from y'all.
Well, Jimmy, we just want to say thank you for all that you've done. And I know you've been on it a long time, and we really appreciate you always looking after us in Beaufort County. And I can't tell you how much we really appreciate what you do, what you've done, and we look forward to you doing more in the coming years.
Well, thanks so much for your support, and I appreciate that.
Has a demolition permit been issued or applied for the Sea Island Apartments?
That I do not know.
They have started the process of asbestos abatement, which will take about a month to month and a half. At that point, then they'll look at demoing the existing buildings.
Thank you.
Asbestos.
Yeah, that's always a fun game to play. Jimmy, I got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
With last week or probably a few weeks ago, got news that new monies had been redirected for the Naval Hospital to upfit it again. How does that affect the status of the super clinic that was going to be in the region here?
You talking about the VA, or you talking about the super,
No,
just
the
super
base
clinic?
super clinic, yep.
Oh, we're still looking for funding, and that's going to be at Marine Corps Air Station Beaufort.
Yep.
It's going to back up to the National Guard. There's a big space over there that's already been allotted for it. And so we're waiting to hear back from the military or from that subcommittee on seeing if the funding is going to be there. But Super Clinic is coming to the air station, what we've been told,
Wonderful.
for sure. Just the funding has been an issue.
And I'll reiterate what Mary Beth said, Jimmy. I've known you for several years personally, and now in a professional capacity. And again, we can't thank you enough for what you do, not only with charities, but this specifically for us as a community. So thanks for keeping us at the forefront of that brain housing group of yours, and always doing it with a smile. And it's a thankless job some days, because we all look at the paper the way we read it and interpret it. But your candor with us and just kind of the regular updates are what we appreciate, so we can continue to kind of move in the same direction together.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boozer. All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion that we reappoint. There we go. Can I get a second? Any comments, questions from council?
Look forward to continue.
Absolutely. All right. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, important dates. I think we got something for every day and going on in June. I'll let you read those off, Mr.
All
Mr.
right,
Willis.
Friday, June 12th, Touch a Truck at the Port Royal Branch Library from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Saturday, June 13th, the inaugural Youth Against Violence Walkathon and Cornhole Tournament at Live Oaks Park at 8 a.m. Also, on Saturday, June 13th, from 8 to 11 a.m. is the Lines and Legends Father's Day Fishing Fest. This is hosted by the Port Royal Police Department. It's going to be at the Broad River Fishing Pier. Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth National Day, office will be closed. Saturday, June 20th, the Community Skate Park Cleanup at Naval Heritage Skate Park at 9 a.m. Also on this Saturday, the 20th, Free Boxing Foundation 5K at Live Oaks Park at 8 a.m. Saturday, June 20th, the 6th Annual Juneteenth Freedom Day Celebration at the Naval Heritage Park at 4 p.m. Saturday, June 20th, Battle of the Beards at Fuel and Fire, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, June 20th, street music on Paris Avenue with Peter Karp at 6 p.m. Monday, the 22nd, Planning Commission meeting at 5 p.m. Saturday, June 27th, the Dragon Boat Races between Shell Ring and Fish Camp. Those will be all day. Also on Saturday, June 27th, as mentioned earlier, the Historic Port Royal Foundation for the Hell of It Party at Live Oak Park from 3 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Absolutely, and that, the street music will be, it's the last one of
Yeah, it'll be the last one.
of the spring series, but the three so far have been fantastic. Last Saturday was great, so, they've all been great. So I just encourage everybody to come out for that last one. Any other dates anybody needs one to add?
I got a call today asking about Port Royal having a midget wrestling match.
Port Royal's not having midget.
That's what I said. That's it. You're not having it. I didn't know anything about it.
And we don't use that word. We use dwarfs.
Well, that's what they said to me, so I'm
Okay.
just quoting what they said to me. I'm like, okay, what?
That's at Shell Ring on Sunday.
Okay.
I believe, and they're selling tickets to that.
So it's that shell ring. I said it had nothing to do with us. Okay. I didn't know anything about it, so.
That's the reason we had to pass an ordinance about use that Noah was talking about.
Yeah, that didn't fit the code. Yeah.
So it's a shell ring.
But yeah, there's a Shell Ring on Sunday. I've seen a lot of ads
So I'll
for
let
that.
them know.
That I've never been to that event. I know people that have. They say it's very entertaining and fun. So I'm sure they'll have a good time on Sunday. No other dates? Anything anyone wanted to add? Okay. All right. Up next, we've got public comment for non-agenda items, which I did get two for. Up first, Mr. Dan and James.
Hey, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Mayor, council members, thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Dan and James. I live on 16th Street here in Port Royal, and I'm a federal law enforcement officer. I wanted to make you aware of an incident that occurred on Sunday, May 24th at approximately 10:50 a.m. While doing yard work at my home, I heard gunshots in close proximity to my yard. I then witnessed one vehicle actively chasing another vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed down 16th Street, disregard a stop sign, and nearly strike the fence around the Beaufort County Park baseball field before taking a left on Old Shell Road. While this was occurring, I could hear additional shots being fired. At that very same moment, my wife was out for a jog on Old Shell Road, directly along the path those vehicles took as this shooting continued. She heard the gunshots and, thank God, got herself to a safe location. My wife could have been killed. This is not some viral video I'm describing. It was a real immediate threat to my family, our neighbors, and our town. I would like to thank the Port Royal Police Department for their quick response and investigative work, especially Officers Shaw and Roberts. The suspect was identified, warrants issued. A day later, the suspect was taken into custody. Unfortunately, I later learned that a municipal court judge from another jurisdiction sitting under an intermunicipal agreement set a $100,000 bond on that attempted murder suspect, and a few hours later, that suspect was released. He is walking around free. In my professional opinion, based on my 13 years in law enforcement, this bond is unreasonably low given the seriousness of the charge, the use of a firearm in a residential neighborhood, and the clear danger to the public. I'm not here to attack any one individual judge, but this particular bond decision shows a serious failure of judgment and of process. For serious violent offenses like this, there should never be a bond hearing where no one from the government is present to advocate for public safety. A solicitor or a law enforcement officer needs to be in that room to present the facts and argue for appropriate conditions of release during bond hearings. Port Royal residents expect that Port Royal cases be handled by Port Royal's own municipal judges who understand our neighborhoods and our public safety concerns. Relying on outside judges to set bond in Port Royal cases creates distance between decision makers and then the people who live with the consequences of their actions. And I respectfully ask Town Council to do three things. Ensure that Port Royal municipal judges, not outside judges, set bond on Port Royal municipal cases. Hire an additional municipal court judge so Port Royal has at least 2 judges who can rotate and handle bond hearings daily. Require that for serious violent charges, an assistant solicitor or a law enforcement representative be present at bond hearings to argue for safety of this community. I'm asking you to bring these bond decisions closer to the people who are directly at risk, my family, my neighbors, and your constituents on 16th Street. and across Port Royal deserve that level of protection and accountability. Thank you for your time and for taking this public safety issue seriously.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. James. That was a very terrifying event. We were just we were right down the street at the Gullah ceremony, the
yeah, the marker,
rededication,
yeah.
right there on that Sunday. So, yeah, scary stuff. But again, thank you for the words, for the shout outs to the police department and their job on it. Up next, I do have another non-agenda item from Mr. Michael J.D. Anderson.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council, and neighbors. I want to take a moment tonight to say thank you. Last night, the voters of District 4 placed their trust in me, and I am deeply humbled by that. We won with 975 votes, or 58.1% of the vote, but more important than any number is what those votes represent. They represent people who believe that our community deserves thoughtful leadership, accountability, and a clear voice for the future. I want to thank every person who voted, every person who took the time to have a conversation with me, and every person who opened their door, asked a hard question, shared a concern, or offered encouragement. Campaigns are often talked about in terms of signs, mailers, numbers, election day results, but at the heart of this campaign were people, real conversations, real concerns, real hopes for the people and the future of Port Royal, Beaufort, and our home. I'm especially grateful to the people of Port Royal. So much of District 4 runs through this town, and I know how important Port Royal is to the character and future of northern Beaufort County. This is a place with history, identity, and a strong sense of community. It deserves to be protected, respected, and represented with care. This campaign was never just about winning an election. It was about listening to people who feel that growth has been faster than we can keep up with, and that traffic and public safety need serious attention, that local government must be more transparent, and that the character of our communities cannot be treated as an afterthought. Those concerns do not end because Election Day is over. In many ways, the real work begins now. As I look ahead, I do so with gratitude, but also with a clear understanding of the immense responsibility that comes with this position. I intend to be accessible, prepared, and accountable. I intend to work with municipal leaders, county staff, fellow council members, and residents to make sure that the decisions we make are rooted in common sense and the long-term well-being of the people who live here. Port Royal and County Council will not always agree on every issue, and that is okay. What matters is that we communicate honestly, respect each other's responsibilities, and remember that we are all serving the same people. The residents who sit in traffic, pay taxes, and worry about public safety depend on infrastructure and want to preserve the quality of life that brought them here or kept their family here for generations. I also want to say that I know that not everyone has voted for me, and that is part of public service. My responsibility is not to only those who supported me, but my responsibility is to represent the whole district, to listen even when we disagree, and to make decisions based on what we believe is right for the community. To the people who place their trust in me, thank you. To those who are still getting to know me, I look forward to earning your trust. And to the town of Port Royal, I look forward to working with you. We have real challenges ahead, but we also have an opportunity to meet this moment with honesty, discipline, and a renewed commitment to protecting what makes this place special. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hold on a second. Hold on, before you leave, congratulations and welcome. You've got some big shoes to fill.
Yep.
Ms. Alice is here pretty regularly, and we work with her a lot. I know you're up for the task, and I'll just remind you that as residents of Port Royal, we pay municipal taxes, and we also pay county taxes. So we pay our share of taxes, and we look forward to your representation and you working with us.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Jerry.
All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
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 All right, speaking of that, yeah, I do
Ms.
have
Alice?
Chairwoman Ms. Howard in the back, if you'd like to come up and. How was your election night?
Wednesday night's great. Don't ask me about Monday night. When I came in, I told Tim, I can always tell my husband I'll probably be home by 8:30 for these meetings, or sooner. But can't say the same about county council. Monday night, we passed the third reading of the revisions to the plastic bag ordinance. So that means now, if y'all choose to pass it, it only becomes effective after the last municipality passes it.
Okay.
So the city of Beaufort has done one reading. I don't think the others have done their readings. We made a few changes to ours. We made it a civil penalty for non-compliance rather than a criminal, and did some other rewording of some things in it. But it took a while to get here, but I think it's got it's a good ordinance. We did the second reading of the sales tax referendum, so we have one more of that, and one more reading of our budget. And the Real Estate Association today called me, and they are even going to do a polling regarding the tax referendum probably sometime in July, which will kind of give us a good feel of what the public is thinking. And just to clear up, I saw something tonight posted about where the old Arthur Horn Park is.
Mhm.
It is adjacent to Port Royal and the city of Beaufort. They have started working on it. The county has. Hopefully, it will be something similar to, it won't be quite as beautiful probably as Cypress Wetlands, but something very similar. So they're going to clear a lot of the debris out of that. And if I can probably get the plans, if anyone's interested, y'all can have the plans for that too. And then I think everyone already knows the county is purchasing where the old Parkers is.
Yeah, any updates on that?
We haven't closed yet, but we're like that close to closing.
The
on
most
it.
important intersection in northern Beaufort County.
We used money that we had from this year to purchase it,
Thank
so it
you.
wouldn't be something again. That's all, unless y'all have questions for me. No.
You've done a good job. We
Well,
certainly do
thank
appreciate
you. I'll keep coming
working
until
with us.
December, so.
And we want to see you after that.
Oh, I can come after that too.
Yes.
He said maybe.
Maybe.
Tell your husband you'll be home by 8:30. You don't want to miss our date night.
Well, thank you so much. At this time, we've now got council comments. I'll start. Anything from Councilman Guerrero?
No, not today.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Everything Hayward?
Not a thing.
All right. Councilman Owens?
I'm just still living off the residue from last Saturday's street music. I mean, the record crowd, and I mean, every single song they were dancing on out there. Just the camaraderie, the family atmosphere, folks from far and near, and so I just love, those types of environments and those types of events. So again, kudos to the owners, actually the people that actually sponsored it or introduced that. They came out, so that was even special.
That was great.
That was great, just to have them come and introduce the band, so that was great, so thank everybody.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Anything?
No, just real quick though, July the 4th, fireworks, we're moving forward on that. Everything's looking good.
Yeah.
Okay. It's
You
coming
know your
up.
evaluation's coming up, right? Yeah.
250-year celebration of our country. I know we're really going to put on a good show, and that'll be on that Saturday night. I know you've got help, and you've got HPRF, and you got others stepping up to come. Good. Thank you. Appreciate that. That's all I've got.
No, absolutely. It's one of the things we do great here. We do it every year, celebrate July 4th really well in Port Royal. So, and like I said, this year being 250, it's just going to be huge. Only comment I got is just thank you to everyone that came out and voted. I know sometimes those, if it's not a presidential election, it's not a general election, it doesn't get a lot of attention, but it matters. I mean, as you just heard, our county council representative was selected last night for the next 4 years. So, so all elections matter, and just thank you to the ones that made time, early voting, or came out yesterday and voted. That's
Not
important.
until after November. Not until after November.
What? He doesn't, there's no Democratic challenger. So,
Still, he can't take over.
so you got it. I mean, starting next year, but, I guess you could get a write-in. That would be crazy. I don't want to jinx you. Okay? But, all right, so hearing no other council comments, we are going into an executive session, as you just heard, to discuss personnel matters, the town manager evaluation. Always a good time, so.
We're accepting
If
applications.
everybody could, I'll entertain a motion that we go into executive session.
So moved. To discuss
Second, all those in
personnel matters.
favor, all signify by saying aye.
Raymond.
Aye, all right, we're gonna go into executive session, we'll
Raymond,
come
thank
out.
you so much for bringing that.
Okay, and we're back. I'll entertain a motion that we exit executive session.
So move.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Again, that executive session was to discuss personnel matters, town manager evaluation, something that we do every year. No formal action is taken after that. At this time, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Good night, Port Royal.
Good night, everyone.